Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jordan Fisher.
I'm Tim and Tapman.
I'm Cypher PK, and this is the May Contain
Action podcast.
Available on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and more.
Welcome to the May Contain Action podcast, brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for those family jewels. My name is PM, and today I'll be your host for this special episode. I know you're used to hearing Trevor and Paul's voices, but for episode 25, we wanted to shake it up a bit. So we're going to look back at the past 24 episodes and find some of our favorite segments. Usually we start out by asking the guests how they got their name. So let's start out with a funny one. This is from Ava JJ.
It's very simple, very straightforward, because obviously the goal of this is try to get to know you and kind of explain that to our listeners. The first thing I want to ask, where did your name...
Oh boy!
Where did your name come from?
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear it.
What's the genesis of your name?
Yeah, tell us the entire story of the genesis.
Well, it depends. What you know me, obviously. Do you mean my original name or my name now?
Please tell us how you. Yeah, that change. How we want to know about the change.
Oh yeah, because I think Trevor probably only knows me as Ava Gigi, right? Yeah.
Actually, when we had met, you had just changed it, like early that week. Yeah. And you told me about it, so that's why I'm excited to hear the story.
Well, you know, when you're young, you think you're clever, you know, and I thought it was hilarious. You know, 18. Oh God, I don't even know how old I was. Teenage-year-old me thought I was. Oh yeah. I used to play a lot of Halo. That was like my first multiplayer game. I loved it. Played it all the time. And in that game, when you kill someone or when someone kills you, it says so-and-so killed someone or you were killed by, you know, whatever. I wanted it to be like a sentence. So I wanted to be like,
oh my God.
A girl killed you or you killed a girl, right? And so obviously I didn't want like a girl. And I very cleverly came up with a vajayjay. Because I still wanted it to be feminine in a way. So I wanted it to read as you were killed by a vajayjay or a vajayjay killed you. And that was my original.
God, that is...
Are you imagining the Halo guy's voice though?
That is so... You were killed by
a vajayjay. Like that. He's so
just stamped across their screen, you know?
Lost the lead.
You don't get it a lot of the times until you read it or say it out loud. And then you're like, oh, okay.
Ava, I've known you for like 5 or 6 years now, and I legit just figured that out like a year ago.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get it. Well, it's because I've been banned. Like that name got constantly banned, so I had to change the spellings a lot. My original one was AVAJAY, which is a lot easier to pick up.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And your Twitch name was Ava JJ.
Yeah. So
and
then
it went to like AI, right? JAI.
Yeah, because it's still an A sound, technically. Okay. The AI sound is A. Yeah.
Okay. Of
course.
But some people think, Jai. But now I'm Ava GG because I say I grew up and matured, you know, as a 29-year-old woman. And I was like, it needs to be family friendly, maybe. For deals
maybe.
And stuff. So, but I didn't want to get rid of Ava because Ava kind of grew from Ava JJ. That's just like my nickname now. And I thought GG was like, you know, good games. Like that's what companies will see if you capitalize the G's. That's what businesses, you know, people, they'll see that. However, if you lowercase the GGs, I'm still just a vag. So, I say I matured and became family friendly. And on paper, to companies, I am.
I like it. Yeah. It's funny because every gaming company in the world's website is .gg. So
it is. Yeah. Absolutely. That's so good.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
I really love that. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. God.
What if they listen to this?
No.
Delete, block, edit that out.
Yeah. We'll edit and post.
Edit and post. Just left the chat.
gain the lead.
Who are kidding? They know what they're getting into.
Yeah, they 100%.
And it's still a sentence, you know. So
Technically, yeah.
I love my multiplayer shooter games.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And that was how Ava Gigi got her name. And let me say, it's probably one of the funniest names I've ever heard of in my life. All right, let's not waste too much time and jump right into the next segment. Usually we ask guests pretty good questions, but this by far is the hardest hitting one. What is their favorite fast food place? So let's talk to none other than Tim the Tap Man.
Tim, another important question for you, and completely right turn. So having been a member of your community for a long time, I've come to the conclusion that you're known for food is one of the things you're known for. And sorry. And
is this a fat joke?
No, it's not.
A lot of lead up.
I know you like as am I, a connoisseur of fast food. Now, I've heard you talk a lot about different institutions, American institutions that are part of all of our lives, but I don't know which one is your favorite.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite? If you have to if you're like, yo, I don't care right now at all, I'm getting my favorite fast food, what is it?
My favorite fast food? Is it only fast food?
Well,
or is there a restaurant, like a chain too?
Hit me with your favorite chain restaurant and then your favorite literally drive-through fast food place.
Yeah.
All right.
You're driving by and you're like, I'm going in.
Okay. I'm going to do chain restaurant first.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really hard one. Because I talk about Olive Garden a lot, but I don't think that's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of like what I'm trying to think of like one that I drive by that really gets me like, yes.
Wow. I felt like you had one ready to go there for a second.
I have one for fast food, not for a sit down.
Oh.
I'll do fast food. Fast food's Taco Bell, 100%.
Yeah.
Even though they did not hire me when I was 15, they said I was not qualified to work there. Well, I'm still a bit bitter about that. But
did they really say you weren't qualified?
Now you're the story.
Yes.
You're just not hiring anymore.
They said
we filled our quota.
They said that I was not qualified for what they were looking for. And that was a low point because I was like, dude, that was my last resort. Now what do I do?
The way you tell that story, I imagine like you going up to the counter, you're like, hey, can I get an application? And the manager like looked you up and down slowly and was like, nah.
No, so I filled out an application and then I called in like my parents always said, be sure to call back. So I gave him a call, like almost harassing him. And and they were like, yeah, you're just not qualified. You're not kind of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it.
What do you think now in hindsight, what do you think they were looking for?
I would like to think that the only reason they didn't hire me was because like I was technically, I think I was 16. No, I was 17 because I was going to college the next year. Bubba's.
What?
Sorry, my bro. I'm holding my son. He just started crying for like no reason. That was awesome. What's wrong, Bubba?
He wants you to get the job at Taco Bell.
Apparently, he's doing his lip thing where he gets really sad.
His lip thing is hilarious.
His lip thing where he like gets really
Some
upset.
of you be able to see this. Some of you won't be able to see it.
Okay.
That's true.
All right, Bubba. I'm sorry. It scared me too. I was like, what the heck? We're having a good time, and all of a sudden he's sad. What did you say? I'm sorry. I got off track.
What do you think they were looking for? You said you were 17.
So I was going. I think it was because like I was going to college the next year. Then that was on my application. So I'm thinking they were looking for someone that was going to be more local permanently. That makes sense.
I see. Yeah.
At least that's what I'm telling myself. I would like to think it wasn't because they didn't think I was qualified to like flip a taco or.
I don't think that's probably your first problem. I don't think they flip tacos.
Flip a taco, bring it in, flip it.
Yeah.
Not
in
really.
reality.
Put it on the grill, ship it.
Yeah. Those are all things. I don't think you know how Taco Bell works.
I'm not really too sure. I know how it tastes and I like it. And so yeah, I would definitely say Taco Bell is like my favorite fast food.
I feel like now you walked in and were like, hello, sir, I'd like an application to flip tacos. They're like,
no, I was like, hey.
Yeah.
Are you hiring? And they said, you're, and I was like, okay. And so then
Nick Merck's manager.
Dude, and then you know what? While we're on this topic, you know what really frustrates me about that younger age I was looking for jobs all over the place and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I was getting frustrated, and my dad was getting frustrated, and he's like, "Why can't you get a job?" I'm like, I don't know. and he goes, he's convinced. He goes, "It's because you're not wearing a shirt and a tie to drop off the application." And I said, "Dad, this isn't the 50s anymore. I don't think it's because I'm not wearing a shirt and a tie to walk into work."
You should have gone like Step Brothers and wore a tuxedo.
Seriously, wore a tuxedo or something to it. But he was like, "You're not getting hired because you're not dressing up." So then I dressed up for the rest of them. Still didn't get hired anywhere, dude. So
your dad's thought process behind things is hilarious.
Yeah, that's yeah. So anywho, I do love Taco Bell though. Taco Bell's lit.
Taco Bell.
I would say that's the one that gets me the most amped when I see it, and I'm like really in the mood.
Yeah.
Sit down's hard though. Texas Roadhouse, like a sit down restaurant chain.
Ooh, Texas Roadhouse.
Texas Roadhouse popped in my head.
Yeah,
popping.
It's not even really their food. I like their biscuit thing.
Dude, there's cinnamon butter.
The cinnamon butter.
I don't even need to eat like anything else. I can literally sit there and just eat the rolls and butter.
I'm fairly certain you can put cheese and bacon on everything there too, which is high quality.
The steaks weren't bad either. They weren't.
And they're not bad.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
It's like
they're pretty
it's like
solid.
Outback. It's
Oh yeah.
whatever.
I will say I've come to really enjoy Texas de Brazil. That's a chain, right? Technically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've come to really,
a little bit
really,
nicer.
really enjoy that. I know it's a bit, been on the nicer side, but like I really, really enjoy that.
Dude, honestly, you could just live off the salad bar there.
I know you don't even need to get the meat. Technically, you can just do the salad bar's huge. It's awesome.
Starving.
So,
Texas de Brazil. Got it.
Of course.
Hopefully Taco Bell feels guilty for never hiring him. But how can we commemorate Tim's answer without playing the other half of the Girthquake, right? Here's Courage's favorite fast food.
What is your favorite fast food?
Yeah, but fast food restaurant. Just give us one real quick. Just throw it. Number one on the list.
Number one.
Right now.
Favorite fast food. If you consider it fast food, it's Chipotle, my newest sponsor.
Oh.
Like not only that it's my newest sponsor, but
yeah,
I mean it's the reason why I like almost got emotional on stream today when announcing it, because it's such a ridiculous thing to get emotional over. But it's like Chipotle was like, I remember getting my car in like junior year of high school. My first thought was like, I can go to Chipotle now and drive myself. When I bought my first car.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
And I just love it, man. I absolutely love Chipotle. Like it's been my Twitter bio of I love soup and Chipotle. When I left Twitch and removed Twitch Prime, I replaced it with Chipotle. So this was a tough one to hold in. Yeah. But now that it's publicly out, like it's just so cool. And as always, every time I feel like I announce a sponsor, the support from everyone out there is just totally overwhelming. And I think a lot of it is because people know the products that I'm sponsored by. Like I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, use it every single day. Like my main title sponsors, like Razer, NZXT, Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, and now Chipotle. It's like all of those things are so near and like you look at my setup, it's like, yeah, that's everything's there.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
It's cool to have so much support. Like even down to the announcements today, like 15,000 or 17,000 retweets on my tweet because we're giving away a year's worth of burritos on my tweet. And then
what?
Hold on one second.
But it's just like not even as a plug, just like it's just a cool thing to have is such a dedicated and warm community.
Well, I think it definitely speaks to like a content creator when they put their. I mean, I'm not. No disrespect to anyone that's kind of like, I get it. Like you're trying to make money as a content creator. So the temptation to just take anything that will give you money and be like, oh yeah, I support this. This is fine. Is definitely there. But I think it speaks to you as a content creator that you have like a handful of things that you really enjoy. And you're like, yeah, I want to partner with you. I use you. I like this product. This is a great product. I'm okay with promoting this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely tell if it's the other way. So
yeah, exactly.
And we can definitely tell that you really do like all the things that you use. So
thanks.
In
Thank you.
different ways, the way you eat it, and the way you
100%. And you have a custom bowl, I've heard. Is this?
Yeah. So as part of the announcement and celebration today, we for just today, if you go on the Chipotle app, so unfortunately by the time this comes out, it'll be over. If you go on the Chipotle app, you can get my exact bowl for $9.50. It shows that like Jack Courage done that bowl worldwide.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Actually, the show comes out like within an hour of this being out, so there are a few people that'll hear it. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, they'll be able to hop
might
in.
be able to get it tonight. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yes,
I'm literally opening this right now. I can't wait. I want to see this.
Yeah, it's in the Chipotle app, and you go to featured, and it's right there.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
How are you so fast at finding things? You find things so fast,
dude. I just
like my facial recognition on my phone doesn't work fast enough. Even like I don't know how you do it.
I don't know, man. I'm into it.
Okay,
we're gonna love it. Sorry, I'm just looking. There it is. God,
Jack, don't order one yet. Do it after. Okay.
Dunlop ball. That's why it's got your face on it.
It really does. Huh?
You're on the friggin' menu.
That's my damn big ass head.
What?
How'd they fit it?
Dude, what is that face you're making? That's the best.
That was the loaded shoot. I know you did one of those.
Yeah.
That's probably the one where I stick my ass out.
Yes, that's that
but
one.
They probably they didn't take that part of the picture, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't put your ass in there, which is I think a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Shame.
100%. Dude, that's incredible.
Chipotle is definitely my favorite as well. I would highly suggest going to the app and checking out his bowl. Now let's transition into a segment where we dive a little deeper into the lives of our guests, and we ask a pretty important question about what they do before their career or what they do after it or how they help out other people. So let's get into Squatting Dogs explaining his career prior to streaming and how important mental health is to him.
So Squatting, you've been in the game for a little bit now, doing the whole content creator thing.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to know a little bit like about your history and everything. Obviously, we learned about your girlfriend, or at least your failed attempt at getting one back in the day with what, Margaret?
Melissa. Yeah.
Melissa.
We don't talk about her anymore.
We don't talk about her. We're not gonna bring her up again. But what did you do before streaming, before content creation? And when did you decide to take this venture full time?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I
really need that validation.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, really.
Yeah. I've done that question 12 times now, and no one's ever thanked me, so I appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah. Great question in the back, Paul. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, my journey to streaming is, I feel, a little non-traditional. I played video games all the time, but there was this like weird stigma of gaming when I was younger. Like there's no careers for it. No opportunity that some of these kids get now. And so there was like things that were okay to pursue in my life and things that were not okay to pursue. And although video game, my parents, everybody, I got into gaming because of my parents. Actually, we played StarCraft together as a family, and they got me into Diablo and all of the Blizzard games.
I'm sorry,
Blizzard.
Real quick. Two things. One, love that you played StarCraft together. Two, what is Diablo?
God dang it. Diablo? Did I say it wrong?
You have been saying Diablo for years now?
Diablo.
This is the first you've been challenged on that pronunciation?
Diagram. Like Diablo. Diagram.
Guys, I'm having an epiphany right now.
That's like what I would call it.
Diablo.
That's what I would call it if my mom was like, "What game are you playing?" Diablo. Oh, okay. That doesn't sound nearly as satanic as I thought it was.
Maybe that's how I got around it. Maybe that's what it was.
That's funny.
Okay, so you say it.
Diablo. It's literally Spanish for devil.
Diablo.
I'm not saying Diablo. You're saying Diablo.
I say Diablo.
Both of those are wrong.
Yeah, well, I would say it's from where you're from, but you're from California. Like there's no.
Yeah, there's no way.
You should really know how to say Diablo.
I didn't have the right. Not very many people played that game with me. It was a single player game.
So you just were saying it to yourself for years.
Yeah, it's
Diablo. Yeah,
or maybe he's reading it. You know what I mean? That happens a lot too. You read a word, and like if it's in a book or something, and you read it so many times, you say it in your head so many times that it just sticks, and then you don't realize you're saying it wrong. I had a friend. I had a friend in WoW that used to always say, the Eastern Plague Lands. He'd say Eastern Plague Lands. And he said it once to me at school. I was like, "What did you say? Where?" He's like, "The Plague Lands." I'm like, "Plague." That's how you spell plague.
That's amazing. Wow.
Plague Lands.
And he's like, "Wow, I just realized I never said it before." I was like, "Yeah."
where Diablo is. That's where he's
this is really shocking to my system. I'm so glad I came on this podcast. Could you imagine if this went live too?
Dude, yeah. Wow. If anyone
if we
saw
were
this,
recording this.
no one listens, so you're good.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I just could not let that stand.
No, and I feel like you'll hold that over for a while, but I'm gonna keep on saying it the way I'm saying it.
I'm gonna bring it up
for it
again.
Anyways, I was playing Diablo. Playing Diablo with my fam. I pursued college, hated college. Just kind of didn't feel really any like reason for studying what I was studying until in my high school career, I lost a lot of friends to suicide and drinking and driving, and like some really bummer, like really good friends that I cared about a lot ended up just like bouncing, and that really affected me like as a high schooler more than I think like I gave more than I like paid attention to or knew how to cope. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, they were great people. They just didn't. They just weren't in. They just weren't in the right circles. They didn't have the right friends that cared about them well. And so I wore a lot of that in high school, and then in college, I didn't know what to do. My parents were kind of forcing me to go to college, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go study to help people make better decisions. Yeah. That was kind of my hope, was like, I want to influence people, and I want to challenge and change the status quo of what the world gives you, the hand that you're dealt, and try to show people tricks of the trade of living like a healthy life. And so I went to college for counseling and therapy and all that stuff, and ended up getting a master's in it and all that stuff, and really enjoyed that conversation. It led me to being a resident director, which essentially is like in a dormitory, there's RAs, and those RAs kind of like are the people that get a bad rep for ruining your life in a dorm. Oh yeah, for sure. And there's an RD, a person over that. And typically what happens in a social situation in college, if somebody's making a poor decision, either the RA or some report comes in, and the RD then has a conversation with those students. And so I was in a position of like suicide prevention and kind of like this interesting discipleship and walking along students that are making poor decisions, and also kind of like intentionally caring for RAs over the course of a year, and kind of like walking them through their lives. And that was like some of the most edifying work that I've ever been in. Unfortunately, the college I worked at kind of just overworked people with not enough pay. And so I did that for almost 6 years. I've been in higher education for 9 years. Wow. And so I really care about people that isolate themselves, typically. Those are the people that I kind of really enjoy caring for. The people on the outskirts of social dynamics and situations, people that feel worthless, people that feel like they're not enough, people that like are sad or depressed or whatever, and try to encourage and give them life. And so in this job, I just kind of got overworked and was feeling really burnt out from it, and had always wanted to be a streamer and content creator, and somebody who can influence people in kind of a new way, a new era, like this whole like last 5 years it's crazy to see some of where gaming has gone. So there's a new platform here that I was exploring while like I'd just been playing video games like this whole time and feeling guilty for it, because like it's not a real job, those types of things. Yeah. Until the opportunity to jump onto Twitch and be like an influencer, a content creator, kind of was this cool middle ground of being able to influence people and like play video games, which I've been doing my whole entire life. And so this cool marriage came together, and I was like, you know what? Like, I looked at my wife, I was burnt out, like really like worried if I should continue being an RD. And I said, I think I have what it takes to be a streamer and content creator and actually make money off of it. And she kind of looked at me like, are you sure? You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like, is that the route you want to go? And I said, I think we have enough money in our bank account for 3 months. And if it doesn't work out in 3 months, I will go back to higher education. I'll figure out another route that will be like cause less burnout for me.
Yeah.
And she was like, all right, let's do it. And at
What
the
year
time,
was this?
I've been full-time a year and a half. But I think we started the conversation 2 years ago. So fairly new, like really new. But I had been doing cheat sheets and content creation on both my Instagram and Reddit, and both of them were blowing up like ridiculously. Like when Fortnite came out, like it changed the game for so many people. And I was one of the fortunate people to have content and consistent content, like helpful content over the course of its existence. And so people really knew my name while the game was coming out because I was helping them with their challenges really regularly. And so I had built up an audience and kind of just probed that audience, was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Is there a way that you guys think I can make a living off of it? And so the first month I made like, I think like $53.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Killing it.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, this is not going to happen. I might as well just ride or die. I might enjoy it while it dies. And then
half of our Zoomers were just like $53.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it tomorrow. And our rent here in California costs $1,780 for a 2-bedroom apartment, which is crazy.
Wow.
And so my hope was to pay for rent. That was my goal by the end of the 3 months, is like, and so month 2 I paid for half of rent, and month 3 I paid for almost all of rent. And that was enough to go another month. And so it's just been slowly and consistently creating content and trying to build an audience of people that want to care about those that are online and not just disregard them as a number. So that's kind of how I got started.
That's amazing. Wow. Amazing story.
That is, yeah, that's incredible. I mean, is there I feel like I've thought about that question a lot, like in terms of Twitch and just gaming in general, and the people that I knew in high school and in middle school, like my friends that weren't necessarily into sports like I was, or like they were, not necessarily even great students, right? They were good students or whatever, but they like playing video games, and they're like, I'm 30 as well. And so like, it's that time of there was no making money or at least even playing professionally or anything. And so I've just seen Twitch give so many people who were hyper competitive but didn't have an outlet, or people who felt isolated and couldn't communicate with other people that felt as strongly they did about the types of games they felt. And then there's just community after community everywhere. And I just realized that every single channel you go into has a different feel for a very specific reason. And I've just become aware in the last few months of how much like my mods and people in my channel play games together. Like, and that's just, that's incredible. You won't find it anywhere else. So it sounds like, and you're the type of person that, wants to help and wants to make yourself available to those people. And there's just not a better place to do it than here. So that's really, that's
absolutely,
dude. That's tip of the cap. That's amazing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I think like mental health is just like a topic that should be more to the forefront for gamers. I think it's kind of one of these, this topic of like, you can just do anything at no consequence. And I think like by even just your physical health, if you're playing video games for a long period of time, there's just dangers over time that can happen. Like you can really hurt yourself by sitting in a chair for that long, or just these things that I don't think are being talked about that I just think are really important, like, and valuable to talk about, because if you're stuck in isolation for too long, that can change the game. And I even struggle as a content creator. And honestly, Paul, you reaching out for this is awesome, because like I think what I'm trying to do 2020 is like learn how to collaborate with other people who get this space, because this space is hard. It's hard. Like you can isolate yourself and you could like compare yourself every single day and feel like you are failing and feel like you are insignificant and feel like you are bad at what you're doing and almost get ready to quit, you know, every day. And that comparison can be really hard. And so I think like what's interesting is there's no real space for people that are doing their own content to kind of like know how to engage with other content creators. So like for my context with you, Paul, was like I just wanted to get to know you. So I came into your chat, we hung out a little bit, engaged, and it was like you seemed like a person that was fun. And then even prior to that, we met in person, and it was like that was like really life-giving to me. Of like this person. It like I was about to leave, and then I ran into you, and we ended up talking for like an hour.
It's true.
Like, this is crazy. But there's great people out there that are doing great content, and in the world in which we live on, it's such a shareable space. Like it's such a shareable space. Like there is no reason for somebody to hoard their, you know, like their audience, because our audiences are already so rapidly moving through content that sharing is such a beautiful thing that we get to do, and something that I want to be a lot better at in 2020, but more so to be able to build actual relationship with people despite how busy I am in my own content creation. Like, and so even you reaching out for this, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. Like, it's so cool that you guys get this opportunity to brush shoulders with other content creators that are doing excellent and amazing things that we can all learn from. And I'm sure the people that listen to this podcast come to this podcast to learn about like these incredible people that have devoted parts of their lives to learning how these things work, to share those tools. And so I think what you guys are doing here is very honorable and something that I am inspired by and want to learn from. So thank you, guys,
man. Oh, of course,
yeah,
absolutely.
It's that I feel so. That made me so happy. I might not retire after this episode.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
It's not over yet.
We got him.
Yet. I'm episode
Sticking
12,
around.
so I can still ruin it. You know,
No, absolutely. We still got time. But it's to your point. Whenever I hear, or not hear, because I literally don't hear anything when I stream. But whenever someone comes in and types in chat, they say, "Hey, Paul, you know, I'm going to start streaming," or "I just did my first stream," or whatever it may be. I almost have a knee-jerk reaction. Not that I'm not happy for that person. Like, that's exciting to do something new and it's fun. But my knee-jerk reaction is, do you have the emotional and mental fortitude to handle that? That's always my first reaction. Is like not in like a writing you off way, but it's kind of like good luck. Like I it's a lot, and I think people don't realize, like you said, it's you are under a microscope to some extent, and you will now put your success in direct correlation to everyone else's. Like, I must be this successful based off of this person and how similar we are and how their success, and I'm funnier than that person in my mind, or my mom says I'm funnier than this person or whatever. Like, so it's a constant mental evaluation that you have to gain a hold of. You have to like keep in check that you do not compare yourself to other people.
Yeah, and it's lonely. Like,
oh yeah,
it's very lonely. Even though you are surrounded by people, right? Like that's the funny thing about it. But it's like at the end of the day, how you feel about your own brand, you're going to be more insecure unless you're around people that you've built friendship with that also get what you're doing. Because I created a stupid video this morning. It took me like 2.5 hours. And when somebody eats that content, they're like, "Oh, you're bad at the game," and you're like, "Ugh," like, you know, like, come on, you little 13-year-old. It took me a long time to build that, you know, like,
exactly.
People don't get that. People don't see the work behind. They just can critique however they want because they get to hide behind their username. And so when you're building content for kids that don't even care, you know, they just want to see you burn for whatever it is. It's so refreshing to be able to have another person who gets it, to be able to say, I'm bummed, you know, like that was a bummer that happened. And for somebody to go, yeah, not like somebody like, oh yeah, you entitled, like what, you get to play video games for a living? It's like it's
what
so
people
refreshing.
say that. I didn't know that. Yeah.
It's so refreshing to have people that get it. And I think that's something that in doing this for only, you know, a year and a half, I'm already recognizing that need for myself to continue to create good content. I think I need those people in my life. And so I think you coming along was actually kind of a big thing for me. So I'm grateful for that.
If you haven't used this app yet, I would highly suggest you do so. It's really good for Fortnite challenges, and it's definitely helped me get a long way. But before we go into our next segment, we usually do an ad read at this time. So instead of me reading about why you can use code MCA for 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com, I'm going to have Paul explain it with his funny ball story.
Let's get after it. Now, guys, support for the May Contain Action podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. And they are the best in under the belt grooming. All right. They make precision engineered tools, like I said, for your family jewels, baby. Now, this is kind of a little bit of a personal story. I figured I'd share with you guys.
Oh, can't wait.
Considering Manscaped. It's a little something special. Okay. If you tell anyone, I'm going to deny this, but it did happen. So essentially, this is a very, very quick story, but I'm getting married, right? It's 2000. What year was it? I don't know. 2013. Paul's getting married. Very excited. Living with his parents. Okay. It doesn't anyway. Living with my parents. So I'm at home, getting ready. Wedding's tomorrow. And I think, what's on my checklist, right? Ring, tux, haircut, ball cut. Got to get things in order. Got to manscape it up. So I don't really have a whole lot of experience with this. So I take this old clippers. I have like an old set of clippers, and I've been using them for a while. I cut my own hair at this time. I was actually bald back then. This is the real thing. I have hair now, but I was bald back then. And I had dropped them so many times that like the teeth were off centered. They were just like misaligned.
Why are
which made them cut real close, but it was risky. So anyway, look, the point is, I'm weed whacking, right? I'm mowing the lawn, taking care of what needs to get done. I'm mowing the lawn. Okay. And did a nick or two happen? Sure, it did. My hands were unsteady. I'm getting married tomorrow, dude. I'm nervous, freaking out. Okay. Maybe a little scratch here or there. But I think to myself, God, it's a terrible job. All right. I did landscaping for years. I would not present this to a customer. And so I think, well, I got to soothe. I got to take care of this somehow. And I'm like, this is bad. I got like a scratch or a nick. Like, what am I going to do to soothe this pain? And at that time, again, I'm living with my parents. They're very into essential oils. That was like a thing.
Oh my God.
So I'm looking through the essential oils. I see like orange citrus. I'm like, oh, that's a bad idea. I see lavender. I'm like, I don't want to smell like that. I see peppermint. I'm like, ooh, I like peppermint. So I take some of that and I'm like, this is going to really make things feel better. I get a nice handful of it. The top falls off. So I get like way more oil in my hand than I'm ever supposed to get on my hand. Like the whole top just falls and the whole house smells like peppermint. I kind of like shimmy it back in there. And I just go and just make sure my peaches are all right. You know, take care of my 2 cherries. Within 15 seconds, I immediately realize why no one ever puts peppermint on an open wound. Mother of God, hurt like a I literally, I was in my, I remember vividly, the bottom floor of my house, literally all rooms connect. It's literally it's a giant circle. I'm in the kitchen, butt naked. No one's home, butt naked. Because that's where the essential oils are. I put them on there and I do laps screaming at the top of my lungs, every obscenity known to man for at least 5 minutes. It was the worst ball pain I've ever had in my life. I just want you to really picture me naked running around my parents' room.
Stop.
Just really imagine that. Look, the point is, the whole point of the story, all right? You don't have to worry about that with Manscaped, man. All right? It's not a thing. Their trimmer is safe. All right, they have ceramic blades on there that will protect you against any nicking or any cutting or any nonsense like that. All right, they got the third generation lawnmower 3.0. It's got 90 minutes battery life. That means you can take your time. All right, you got a lot of stuff going on down there. You got a jungle, whack it down. You got 90 minutes. If it takes longer than 90 minutes, you can recharge it. Charges through USB. It's fantastic. My personal favorite is the LED light in the very end. No one mows the lawn at night, my guy. Flash the light on that thing, get to grooming, knock those hedges down. And lastly, if you use code MCA at manscaped.com, you can get 20% off and free shipping. That's manscaped.com. Use code MCA, get 20% off your entire order.
Do it!
Let's go!
Right now!
Get it!
Because you're sitting at your computer. We know you're at your type it in.
Rub peppermint oil on your nutsack.
Can women use Manscaped?
Hell yes.
Of course they can.
Of course everyone needs to
We
skate.
love the lady folk here at the
Yeah.
MCA podcast.
Absolutely. Of course they can.
Wow, what an incredible long ass ad. We're gonna get so much better at that though. Holy shit, that was so long. And you thought of every word you could possibly use for your testicles. Every single word.
I don't know if that could have done better.
Your giblets.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Your bouncy boys.
Your twig and berries.
Your bouncy boys.
Your satchel.
Your your coin purse.
Your stones.
Okay,
your jelly
you guys
beans.
win. You win. You're right. We didn't use them all.
You don't want to go into this, dude. I could go all day.
I got way more.
Seriously, buy the trimmer. It's phenomenal.
Speaking from experience, the Lawnmower 3.0 is incredible and has become a staple of my weekly routine. I would highly suggest you do the same. But let's move on to the next segment. And this one is arguably one of my favorite segments of the last 24 episodes. It's explaining how Dr. Lupo got connected with St. Jude's.
As everyone sure as heck better know, you do your St. Jude event every year, your big one. I was very, very honored to be part of it this year. It was so much fun. But I can imagine the type of planning that takes. So
yeah.
So when do you start looking forward? Probably right after that one's over. But moving forward to this year's event, when do you start to really start to ramp up, getting everything planning for it?
Probably 4 months out is around when we start the communication process. I reach out to sponsors that I am working with, that I have worked with, that anybody that's anybody that's a friend of the channel, anybody through through Rogue, my esports team, anybody through Twitch, you guys, I'll start planting the seed of, hey, I'm doing this thing. Maybe you want to be around for it if you want. The next GCX stream is about 4 or 5 months away. So we're at the point where we're like, okay, what are we going to do for this next one? And I have a pretty wild idea for my block. Yes. And here's the thing. They haven't even asked me necessarily yet if I want to be one of the blocks. If I am, then so be it. There's a lot. And it's always like, what do I try and go bigger? Do I try and do something different? What do I do? Because there's always a lot of pressure from the outside world to be like, well, you did this much last time, you're going to do twice that. And I'm like, imagine having me try to do twice $2.3 million in 24 hours. It makes me want to throw up thinking about how difficult that would be, because there are people that stream for the Games Done Quick. They do a week and raise 3 or 4 mil. I'm like, I can't do that in 24 hours.
Exactly.
How? It's not even, what are you talking about? You know,
the energy you'd have to bring to that would be unparalleled. There's no way.
I always try and elevate too. It's like we had multiple guests from St. Jude this year for Build Against Cancer. I had more contributions from sponsors and stuff than ever. Like Logitech put in $80,000 worth of merch that people won. The number of things that people could win literally for just donating $10 to St. Jude was insane.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
So yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, it's a big piece of stream because I stay humble, according to that, that guy I'm not from earlier. But as I've said a billion times and will always say, without the people that watch my channel, I wouldn't be where I am. So I feel as though I need to do my due diligence to give back to people to help people who cannot necessarily help themselves. And what better cause than kids who are fighting the worst things in the entire world?
Absolutely. That's amazing. So on behalf of us at the pod and everyone, thank you for doing that, and I can't wait to participate again next. It's beautiful because at least the Build Against Cancer, it's always in the off season, so I'm always going to be able to be around and participate as much as I can. And I don't know, as this thing goes on, and you are one person and you only have so much streaming that you can physically do. Start adding people left, right, and middle, and I think that's kind of the next step. But we'll see. I'm excited to see what happens next year and how to keep this thing going. It's an amazing thing you do. Keep it up.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. I think this is our favorite part of the podcast, Paul.
Oh, well, I don't want to rush. Why specifically?
Jude? Yeah.
I'm very curious about that because I want to know, is there some sort of history behind it, or why did you specifically choose St. Jude as opposed to anything else?
So back when I did my very first charity stream, we did 2 in about 4 to 6 months, something like that, for the National Fragile X Foundation, because my brother-in-law, Sam's brother Dale, has something similar to Fragile X, which is kind of like autism and a couple other things mixed together. And so we raised over 2 streams, we raised $25,000 for them, which was crazy because at the time we're talking when I had 200 to 400 viewers. So that's a lot.
Yeah, that's huge.
In the middle in there, I did actually after the second one, I did the midnight to 4 a.m. block for Destiny Community Con. Back is what Guardian Con, which is now GCX, was originally called. Actually, before that, it was called Sweat Con, but that's a different story for another day. Okay. So DCC, I did that midnight to 4 a.m. block, and we raised $4,500 for St. Jude. It's the hardest block to raise money for. It was like Sunday night or something before people go to work on Monday, so there's not very many North America viewers, that kind of thing. Yeah. But we did what we could. I did one for Make-A-Wish after that. We did $39,000 for Make-A-Wish. That was 24 hours on New Year's. That was the stream. I don't know if you know about Mike, the story with Mike. Kotaku did an article on it, but there was a guy that was a friend of a longtime viewer of mine that he watched me too, but he had cancer. Colon cancer, something down in the back end of the dietary tract. And he had never been flawless in Destiny. So the first run we did for the Make-A-Wish stream, me and my buddy Brian, Ninja with Noel, jumped in with him, and he was super happy. And it was just one of those things that you can't really recreate that feeling. So we ran with him and we got him flawless, and he was smiling and laughing the whole time. He had a great time. And a few months later, he passed away. His family told me that through the guy that watched my stream, that it had been a while since they had seen him that happy about anything. That he was just through the roof with how ecstatic he was to be able to do what we did for him. Yeah. And I found out a couple months ago that his daughter now watches the YouTube video that I put up of us playing with him because she likes listening to him laugh. And it's one of the only recordings that they have of him being that happy around the time when he was battling all that stuff. And I didn't know that, so obviously the video is going to stay up for forever. I'm never going to pull that away from them. But so that, even though that was a Make-A-Wish stream, I've never had anything with none of my family members have ever nobody I've been connected to directly like that has ever had cancer. I've never had to deal with it directly. My wife and I and my son were healthy, which I consider myself extremely lucky for. But I've seen, talking directly to those people, and I've seen the impact that these things have on those people. And so when St. Jude, after the first one with Destiny Community Con came around, did the next one, and I had a day block and we did $69,000. That was around the time that for me, I was like, I have to do this.
69,000. That's just after you did
4 hours. Yeah. And then not this past year, but the year before that, I had one of the primetime blocks, the 8 to noon, in the middle of the week.
Yeah.
And we did $362,000 in 4 hours.
What?
And then this last year, I had the anchor block, which is the final block of the marathon. We did 920,000 in 4.5 hours because we got to 4 hours, and Broman messaged me, and I was like, I'm gonna keep going. And he was like, okay, but you can only go for a little bit because they had already like talked to the Games Done Quick people because they were doing their week following Guardian Con's week.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to host them. But I mean, if you need to go longer, go. And I was like, I'm going to go longer. And, and that's that. And so that we got so close to $1 million. It was insane. And we did the Bill Gates Cancer one last year, and that did 600,000 in 24. And then we did this last one and it did 2.3. We've done shirts for them. As you know, directly, 4 Millionaires and Paul did like $176,000. And we had the All the Work shirt, and I have had multiple Bill Against Cancer shirts. And I've tried every way that I can think of to channel the energy. Like I did my supporter creator thing, and that raised another like 30 grand.
That's right.
And like I've tried as hard as I can to be as supportive of those people, because I was shown directly by both Mike and his family and seeing these kids in person at St. Jude that we have a real impact on what they're doing. And on top of that, man, here's the thing. There's a lot of good causes out there. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I would love to support everything.
Yeah.
Heart disease and lung disease and Alzheimer's and, suicide awareness and veterans and puppy dogs and trees and everything. And so the thing that people have to remember is that there are a lot of good causes. But the good thing is there's a lot of good content creators that like Jack Septic guy last year did a charity stream every month for a different cause every time. That's crazy. And he raised like $1.9 million or something like that in 2019 for all these different causes put together. That's great. So I don't have to put myself into every cause.
No,
that's on top of that. I mean, you can even hear me talking about it. I'm very emotionally connected to it because now I have a kid, and I've seen some of the scary side of it. When we were at St. Jude last year for the summit, I watched a mom pull their kid down the hallway in a little cart because they just got done with chemo and they couldn't stand up on their own, and they were curled up in a ball in this little red wagon. They had a tablet and they were watching TV. They were in a cart. Like no family should have to do that. No parent should have to wheel their kid down a hallway of a hospital because they're too weak to walk on their own.
Yeah.
Dude.
So, there's people out there that like I said, I got that tip today was so funny. $5 from some guy telling me to stay humble. I'm like, bro, you don't know anything about what I've tried to do with my platform. And it's not like it's like bragging rights or anything like that. I don't care about that. I don't care about the spotlight around it. Yeah, it's cool that people are like, hey, like news articles written about it. That's great. Like people should. It's for awareness.
It's awareness.
That's the whole point, is to make people aware.
The point.
If those places never say a thing about me, that's fine. I don't care. I just want people to know that there's people out there that need help, and I consider myself super lucky, which is why I even try and donate like hundreds of thousands of my own money. Like it's whatever for me, because I've found success in a way that I never thought possible. My family's good, man. Like I'm set. We're fine. So I might as well do something with the crazy amount of success and give it to people who can change the world. St. Jude literally changes the world. People don't realize the impact that they have, that all the research that they do at the hospital is shared globally for absolutely free. Doesn't cost anybody a dime. They have raised the survival rate of the top forms of childhood cancer by a substantial amount. And so St. Jude, in my eyes, is like, if I want to impact the world, if I want to take the platform that people have given me and really do something that's going to affect the entire planet in a positive way,
yeah,
might as well help somebody, right?
Yeah. And it's funny, it's the people who say those things like why don't you help X, Y, or Z, right? Whatever it is. If you weren't doing what you're doing, it wouldn't be as forefront of their mind that another cause that they care about needs help. So then cool. I hope that I'm spurring you into taking action to help the things that you care about. And the more people that are spurred into action beyond the money, that's the most valuable thing that can happen. And I think content creators all over the place are following your lead in this and finding things that they care about a lot. And it's very current for me as well, because we have, as baseball players in not only Minnesota but in the world, we have a certain platform too, and I've been thinking about how much more I need to do. So you doing all this has lit that fire even brighter under me. So that's the value I get mostly from it. Is we could all do more. You could always do more to help the people around you, and the world needs. You can never, the world needs more of this pod. There's never too much help.
I appreciate that. It's important to know too, like. There should be no expectation of anybody to do anything. Like if it's outside of somebody's comfort zone, they just don't want to do it. Whatever it is, that's fine. Like nobody needs to pressure other content creators to do anything. But if somebody does end up doing a stream or donating money or whatever, you better believe you should be there supporting them and not saying you should do more or anything like that. Because I do see that sometimes where people like Tyler. Tyler and Jess donate a lot of money behind the scenes and don't say a thing, and nobody knows about it. And they think that, and the public, sometimes I've seen people that are like, why don't you do this? And I'm like, y'all don't have to put that pressure on people like that. He didn't have to do anything publicly. Yeah. He didn't have to. Yeah.
They're minority. It is what it is. It is the nature of the beast.
People are doing with their money, not live.
Just don't. Yeah. Don't assume you know. Yeah. Anyway, it's phenomenal. Proud, man. Proud to call you friend, brother.
Appreciate that. If you're feeling inspired from that segment by Dr. Lupo, you can always go to the St. Jude's website and help donate. You can also hop into one of his charity streams and donate as well. But now it's time for an awkward transition, what we're really, really, really good at. Usually towards the end of the show, we play a game. Most of the guests understand how that actual game works, whether it's initials or fact or fable. But for Avalanche, it took them a little while to get.
We got a game now. We got to do the game. It is Trevor's week, so of course we were playing initials. Woo! I will not ruin it. For those of you that are not familiar with the rules of initials, and I don't know if you know how to play initials.
I got to win.
I mean, you're going to lose.
I'm going to give you 100%.
I'm going to beat you.
Now I have.
I mean, there's a couple boomer things in here, so I don't. Might not even. Some of the stuff is or what it is. I don't even know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
But it's basically I give you two initials, every single thing in it, and it could be a name, it could be like a phrase, or like it'd be like a pop culture phrase, or it could be, but everything goes by those initials. There's gonna be 5 categories. Basically, I'll read hints, so you get one guess per section.
Okay.
And they go from like the most obscure hints, and then it goes down to the 5th hint is usually like I'm giving it away to you. Pretty much. Like if you don't get it by then, you're not going to get it probably.
Yeah. So like if the initial is TM, right, and he's like, Green Goblin, you get, and he moves on, and he's like, red suit. You're like, okay.
Toby. Okay. Oh,
you got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Toby.
I'm okay. All right.
Or sometimes you just say the word Toby, like I did, and ruin it.
And ruin the game.
This is a side question, but who's your favorite Spider-Man of all of them? Do you think Tobey Maguire was the best one?
Oh, I like those. I got a soft spot, but I think that I think the current one's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I will say I get way too in this because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero.
Oh man.
I'm not going to do it. But I think Tom Holland. I have a soft spot for Tobey Maguire. Absolutely. Tom Holland, best Peter Parker. Andrew Garfield, best Spider-Man.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it's the voice, maybe.
Character as well. That's actually the first time I've heard someone whose favorite character is Spider-Man say Andrew Garfield's their favorite.
Oh, Andrew Garfield was, in my opinion,
I liked all of
the best Spider-Man. He was hilarious.
They said he didn't fit the role, though. He didn't fit like the Peter part. Like he wasn't like a young kid.
He was way too hot.
He was like a cool dude. Like that's not who Spider-Man was.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but the Tom Holland, though, a lot of you guys don't know this, but he does pretty much all of his own stunts. A lot of people don't know that.
Oh,
but he's the one flipping into the camera and stuff. That's actually him,
bro.
Like he does the flips. Yeah. I didn't know that at all. And he was
sick.
Something behind the scenes. I was watching behind the scene. I don't know. I was in a YouTube, and he was just like, "Yeah, I do my own stunts, and I'm like a trained gymnast." And we're like, "What? Insane! It's crazy." But yeah, so now you get that was a weird sidebar, but now we get.
I loved it. I like that.
Yeah,
I
it was great.
It. Andrew Garfield. Geez.
Yeah, crazy. So that's just the game, and I'm just gonna move through.
I'm not allowed to Google. I have to sit here and just know off the top of my head.
You can't Google.
Oh,
so
man,
because it'll be too easy with the initials.
Okay.
And I give you a couple seconds to answer, and then I'm gonna go hint 3 and then say what it is. All right.
Okay.
So there's 5. So there's hopefully there's no ties.
Okay.
All right. This week, the initials.
Shout it out? Ooh, okay.
The initials are JC. JC.
Got it. JC. Okay.
JC.
Okay. So number 1, hint number 1 for the first section. Memphis.
John Mellencamp.
JC. They're the initials. JC. Or the
I was a singer. I thought Walking in Memphis. Who sang that song?
John Mellencamp.
Okay. You said JC, so I'm thinking singers. You said what's it called? You said Memphis, so I guess some old. I know a lot of different musical artists. I'm not losing.
Right.
I'm not losing this.
You get a mulligan.
Gulag Gary strikes again.
Okay, JC. So if it's a name or if it's a phrase, it will always be the initials JC.
Oh, I said JM. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we're laughing.
Wait, now I realize why y'all are laughing.
Okay,
that took me a good 45 seconds to realize.
Okay,
now
so the first hit was Memphis. Paul, do you have a guess?
Oh shit!
Okay. You're making a mockery of my game. This isn't my fault this time.
John Mellencamp.
Bro, I said a name. I thought you said JM. I thought I was on it. I thought I had y'all. I really thought I had y'all.
He's like, John Mellencamp. He's like,
I thought I just aced that. And y'all, damn.
Well, you didn't.
Now I'm looking dumb.
So we won't count that as a miss.
Oh my
because
God.
it wasn't even the right. All right.
Yes.
All right. We're going to hit number 2.
Okay.
Ooh, and
Acoustic.
Now it can be.
Acoustic. Okay, so it's definitely Johnny Cash.
It is Johnny Cash.
Who was that? Anyone can shout out the answer, right?
Yes, you can shout it out at any point. You gotta be first. But if you shout it out and you're wrong, usually you're just done for that round, and then you gotta hope the other person gets
Isn't
it.
Johnny Cash Ring of Fire? Isn't that
yes.
Yeah.
So he's from Memphis. Acoustic.
I didn't know that. Oh, man.
And then the other hints were all black. He's famous for wearing all black.
Yeah.
Associated with Joaquin Phoenix, because Joaquin Phoenix played him in Walk the Line. And then the last one is Walk the Line, which is just obvious.
It's just very much in your face. Yeah.
So I'll just hit you with the last one is like, oh God, no one's getting it. I hope someone gets this, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Now, Paul's leading 1-0.
Oh, man, now I'm going to be hesitant to yell out an answer.
Yeah. In that circumstance, Ava, if I personally had yelled out Janis Joplin, that would be incorrect because the initials are JC. You understand the?
I'm slowly getting it.
Okay, I just want to be sure we're on the same page. Okay.
All right.
Perfect.
Number 2. Hint number 1.
Yeah.
17.1 million.
Were we given the initials?
Okay. It's
the same initials. JC for all of them.
Oh.
Hint number 2. Sometimes controversial.
Sometimes controversial. Okay.
James Corden.
James Corden, sometimes controversial. Not James Corden. Oh, but I like, dude. That was a good one. I don't know where your hint though. Third hint. Yeah. Transformation.
Oh, I know.
Oh. Shut your mouth, Lance. Hint number 4. Tutorial. Hint number 5. Makeup. Really?
I'll just get. Hold on.
10 seconds. 10.
I'm so mad right
9.
now. I'm so mad.
8.
I'm pissed.
7. 6. 5. You gotta say something.
Jeffree
4.
Star?
No.
I know.
James Charles, dude.
That
Come on.
was my freebie.
There you go. Well, so 1-0. You don't get a point. So it's 1-0. Still close.
I had to close out everything. I closed out your chat. I closed out everything. The only thing I'm seeing is me.
Oh, James Charles.
James Charles. So the hint was 17.1 million. That's how many subs he has. Sometimes controversial. Been in a couple YouTube tiffs. It's fine. It happens. Right?
Yeah, totally.
Transformation, obviously. Makeup tutorials. So, all right. Third thing.
Yeah.
Hint number 1. Well, it's just your third section.
Yeah, of course.
Hint number 1. Funny.
Oh, narrows it down.
It's not supposed to. Hint number 2.
Okay.
Associated with bright green.
What?
Bright green.
You're confused. It'll all come together.
What? Associated with bright green, funny.
Third hint. Fake cop. Hint number 4. Associated with the phrase, "You're a mean one."
Why do I not know this?
Hint number 5. The Truman Show.
Oh,
Jim Carrey.
No.
Instead of saying, "Oh my," you should say the name.
Dude, I was talking about this literally yesterday with my roommates. That movie. I said I'd never seen that movie. We should watch it sometime. Isn't that the movie with Jim Carrey? I can ask Mako and Frosty. We were talking about that yesterday.
Oh man.
To answer your question, yes, you should watch it. It is a great movie.
I've never seen it.
I've never seen it either, actually. I do want to see
That's
that.
so weird. That was literally
good.
yesterday. I've never talked about that movie in my life other than yesterday.
You're in
now we have
quarantine?
a question on it.
Watch The Truman Show. All right. 2-0, Paul.
I'm not.
Let's see if Lance can get 1.
Bro, I would have gotten the James Charles one. I shouldn't have guessed, man.
Come on, Lance.
I yelled James Corden.
Hey, but that was the James Corden could very easily be in this list.
That's true.
All right.
Okay.
Number 4. Hint number 1. Combat.
Jesus Christ. Dang it. Okay.
All right. Is that you guessing, or you just?
I
Jackie Chan.
preemptively thought
Jackie
that
Chan.
it's gotta. Wait.
Are you both guessing right now?
Yeah, Jackie Chan's my guess. You said combat. Jackie Chan's my guess.
That's wrong.
What?
Paul, are you saying Jesus Christ?
Solid guess.
I thought it was an obvious last one, so I just said it. Like, obviously, it's gonna be Jesus Christ. It's
We're
okay.
not on the last one.
Oh, I thought we were.
There's no. This is the
Bro,
fourth one.
that is a guess and a half right there.
Okay, so
I'm
you're
still
both
in it.
wrong. It's offensive. I'm offended. With one hint, you both got it wrong. Combat. Hint. Let's see if you. I'm not going to give you a point, bro. Let's see if you can guess from this point on. All right.
Okay. All right.
Hint number 2. You can't see him.
I know now. I know.
Can't see him.
Wait, can I say the answer?
Yes.
John Cena.
It's John Cena.
John Cena.
Jackie Chan.
So, the third hint was 16-time champ because he's a world champion 16 times.
I didn't know that.
Tied with Ric Flair for the most ever.
Wow.
WWE champion.
Fourth hint is versus The Rock because recently he's the bad guy in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And the last one was in the movie Trainwreck with LeBron.
Was he really?
Yeah, he's the boyfriend.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, he's hilarious in that. You should watch him. He's really funny. He's like a super sensitive.
I can't get a bonus point or something for Jackie Chan. Like nothing, half point, anything, quarter point.
That's pretty good.
Play the game right. 2 to nothing, Paul. Let's see if Avalanche can get this one. Even though
I have to get a point.
He can get a point. He can get 0.1 points for getting it on the second try last one. All right, perfect. Last one.
Okay.
Hit number 1.
Okay.
2 sequels.
Wait. Oh, wait. I want to say it again.
Hit number 2.
I want to say it.
Carter's Friend.
Jackie Chan. 2 sequels, Rush Hour. I know it. I was getting very tempted to say it again.
All right.
I love Rush Hour. That's one of my favorite.
Rush Hour.
I love this movie.
Third hit was Rumble by
I'm
Yankee Stadium.
pissed now.
Oh my gosh.
Third hit is Rumble by Yankee Stadium because he's in Rumble by the Bronx.
Mm-hmm.
And Rumble in the Bronx. Sorry.
I should
4 was Karate, and 5 was Detective Lee.
I should have ended this with 3 points, and I somehow only have 1.
Incredible.
That's 2-1. Paul wins. But that was actually that might have been the best version of this game there is. That was so awesome. Congrats. Paul wins. I think Paul's won every initials, which seems to be so. Where I got the game is from a radio station in Minnesota, and pretty much those guys who are doing it all the time, they always win too. Like the person who comes on never wins because it's just hard. But it's funny to listen to you guys think, and I thought those were 4 good people, 5 good people. I'm kind of sad that you didn't get James Charles though, because come on.
Yeah.
Wait, what was the first one?
I said John Mellencamp. All right, let's just act like that did not even happen. Let's just slide by that one. That was my best guess. That was it. That's all I had. That's all I could muster up, and then I realized.
Such confidence. John Mellencamp. No, it's not.
I didn't realize why y'all were laughing at me for 30 seconds after that as well. And then I realized that is JM initials.
He's like, what? I said it right.
Oh my gosh.
You said yell.
That is my favorite. Trevor, nicely done on initials, bud. Great job.
And that, my friends, is the end of episode 25 of the May Contain Action podcast. You can listen to all the past episodes on Spotify, Apple, Google Play, and more with our videos on our YouTube page at May Contain Action. Again, my name is PM. Thank you for letting me host today, guys. You can follow the show page on Twitter and Instagram at MayContainPod. That's MayContainPod. You can also follow Paul at ActionJaxon on Twitter and Twitch, and ActionJaxon, by the way, on Instagram. That is really hard to say. If you're going to do that, might as well follow Trevor at IamTrevorMay on Twitch and Twitter, and TrevMay65 on Instagram. He won't change that, I'm telling you right now. And we have an official Discord that you could join to talk with fellow listeners as well, ask questions, and suggest people you might want to see on the next show. As always, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.